welcome to Leeds Hacks News on Thursday the 17th of November. I'm Lottie Brooke.
And I'm Fatima Banglawala. Here are today's headlines.
Message of support as Leeds celebrates Transgender Awareness Week to honour those who lost their lives in acts of trans-related violence.
A family paid tribute to a loving son, brother and uncle after a fatal collision with a car late on Monday night.
And the first film is remembered as Leeds pays homage to creator Louis Le Prince. Leeds City Council are acknowledging Transgender Awareness Week with an installation of a remembrance tree in Leeds Central Library.
The public have been leaving messages of support on the remembrance tree for victims of the discrimination trans people face globally. Holly Beatty has this report.
Events are taking place across Leeds this week with the LGBT community to celebrate National Trans Awareness Week, leading up to Trans Remembrance Day on Sunday. In the past 5 years, the UK has seen a 170% rise in transgender-related hate crimes, and in 2016 alone, there were 26 transgender deaths globally, making it the deadliest year in history for the trans community. Leeds City Council are marking Transgender Awareness Week with the installation of the Remembrance Tree in the Central Library, where people are invited to leave messages of support for those affected in the trans community. Hate crimes on transgender people have nearly tripled over the past 5 years in the UK. 2016 has been the deadliest year for trans-related deaths, including the Orlando nightclub tragedy that happened earlier this year. Councillor James Lewis said about the display, "We are already seeing powerful messages being placed on the Tree of Remembrance, which ultimately illustrates the resilience of the trans community."
Basically, being transgender means that you identify with a different gender to the one you were assigned with at birth. So if you were assigned female at birth but you identify as being a male, you would be a male trans person. And similarly, if you're non-binary or agender or bigender or anything like that, if you're non-binary, it generally means you don't transcribe to the idea of being male or female. You just kind of feel like you don't have a gender.
Transgender Awareness Week is a really important week because it's a week of education, a week of remembrance, remembering the lost lives that have been taken from us either through suicide or through being murdered. I've been physically assaulted before just because I identify as transgender and I don't fit the gender norms, as to say. So I do think it's a big problem, and it can get really disheartening, especially when you just want to go out there and live your life and you have all these people that just don't agree with you because of their bigoted views. We need the resources, we need the money, and our government needs to start listening to us and start recognising that we're here and we're not going anywhere. We've always been here, and the fact is that if we're not recognised and we're ignored and our voices are drowned out, then all that's going to happen is we're going to continue being killed.
Transgender Awareness Week runs from the 14th to the 20th of November and aims to raise awareness about the discrimination trans people are still facing globally. The week will end on a Transgender Day of Remembrance, giving the LGBTQ and the surrounding community a chance to reflect on the deadliest year on record. Holly Beatty, reporting for Leeds Hacks News.
A door supervisor from Leeds has been sentenced to 2 years in prison following an attack on a member of the public who then needed hospital treatment.
Leeds Beckett students have been telling Zoe Wright about their concerns regarding the way they are treated by doormen.
A doorman from Brigate Smokestack has been sentenced to 2 years in prison for GBH after an attack on a man that rendered him unconscious. Video evidence showed Marcus Sala attacking the victim both verbally and physically as he was trying to unchain his bike. This has provoked people to discuss their own experiences with Leeds security on social media. I spoke to Michael Brewer of No Curfew Events, who are known for their great security, about the way they believe security should act. He told us, "People are sometimes too quick to judge a doorman based on their temperament or attitude, and while this can increase that person or venue's likability, at the end of the day, they are there to do the job. And if they can do that well without any incidents, to me that is the most important aspect. As a general rule, a bouncer should never purposely strike a customer in any way and only apply enough force to render them no longer a threat to anyone." I also spoke to the people at Prism, a popular Leeds nightclub, to ask how they handle unruly customers. They told me, "Our security personnel are trained to deal with situations in the best possible manner and to stay calm while keeping themselves and everyone else safe. We understand that intoxication can make people become angry at times, and our team are known to deal with this in the most effective and calm way possible. It is absurd for a person to attack the very people they are meant to be keeping safe. I spoke to a few Leeds Beckett students about their own experiences.
Yeah, I think they're great. I mean, I lived in Manchester for 3 years, and the bouncers were much worse there, I thought, than here. They seem to be friendly. The bouncers in Manchester are friendly on the most part as well. Just sometimes they're a bit more aggressive, especially in like more, like the dingier clubs with more a drug scene, that sort of thing.
It works both ways. Not every student's a saint, especially if a couple of drinks down you and whatnot.
Yeah.
It gets out of hand easily, but there you go.
They're all right, apart from the time where this guy he managed to get inside my friend's bike, and I went and spoke to the bouncer, but he clearly ignored what I went to tell him. Yeah.
It really does seem that experiences with doormen depend on the individual. I'm sure the behaviour of event security will be looked into following this occurrence. This has been Zoe Wright reporting for Leeds Hacks News.
2 men have been arrested on suspicion of causing death by dangerous driving after a cyclist was killed on Monday night. The driver of the car remains in a serious but stable condition at Leeds General Infirmary. Issuing a statement through West Yorkshire Police, the family paid tribute to the 33-year-old John Harkins. Detective Chief Inspector Stuart Spencer, investigating, said, "This is clearly a very serious incident that has resulted in a man's death, and we are carrying out extensive inquiries to establish the full circumstances. Anyone with information about the crash is asked to contact police on 101.
Passengers on a Leeds water taxi have been getting a running commentary on the significant film history of Leeds.
With the Leeds Film Festival coming to a close, Joe Byrne went along to find out more.
It's the Leeds International Film Festival this week, so we thought we'd take a trip down to the birthplace of film via an unusual form of transport.
So it's from this window here on the white building where the blue plaque is that Louis Le Prince shot the first film in 1888 of traffic moving over this bridge, the Leeds Bridge here. And today we're on a boat captained by the brilliant Rich, and he's been telling us about the significance of Louis Le Prince.
Louis Le Prince. Well, Louis Le Prince is an infamous French gentleman, shall we say, who reputedly developed the first films, so the first moving pictures. And he lived in Leeds for a portion of his life. And apparently, the very first film he did was in a garden in Roundhay, but it's only so many sort of like frames long, say sort of 18-20 frames of it, so it's a snippet that lasts less than a second. So the first official moving picture he took a few years later, and it was basically of a few horse and carts travelling across Leeds Bridge, which will be coming up around the bend. So yeah, that was in 1888, I believe, and he took it from the first or second story window of the old British Waterways building, just to the left-hand side of the bridge as we approach it. And apparently the strange thing that happened though was a few years later, after he'd left Leeds, basically he boarded a train in Paris to go across Europe, but he never got off and he was never seen again, and his voice, his body was never found, and he just went missing. So, it's possibly a case of industrial espionage.
Just to give you an idea of what Louis Le Prince's angle would have been like when he made the first film, it was from about this height of the bridge, but obviously in 1888.
I'm Joe Byrne, reporting for Leeds Hacks News.
The Spirit sculpture has appeared in Leeds train station after 4 nights of construction.
At a cost of £50,000, the piece had taken 2 years to construct before finally being released to the public. The sculpture was erected as part of the Welcome to Leeds art trail and will last for 3 months. The Spirit is just one of 15 unique art displays in the city centre. The chief executive of the Leeds bid talked to Leeds Hacks News about the sculpture.
Why Leeds for this sculpture? Well, this is part of a project that's been led by the Business Improvement District here in Leeds, where businesses have come together and said, how can we enhance the city, put more artists together and get more installations in the city? So this is one of a trail of 15 things that are happening in the city this year at Christmas. And obviously this is a fairly major piece and it fits in the ticket hall here. And it's been designed by New Substance, a local company, so who are specialise in this sort of thing. In terms of putting it up, it's taken 4 nights because obviously this is a busy area. Network Rail have been working with the council and with the Business Improvement District to make sure we put this up at a time when it's safe. So it's been the last 4 nights that it's taken place here in Leeds, and it's up for the next 3 months, but specifically for Christmas. The artist, it's the spirit of the city. The strands represent the textile industry, and almost it's an optimism piece as well. It's a hope. It's what we, in terms of the city, because there's lots of things that the city has to be optimistic and look good, positively forward for, and that's what this is all about, a physical embodiment of that.
What will happen after 3 months?
Well, we'll wait to see. It'd be great if it stayed longer. I think people are already starting to tweet and like it and make comments on it, and that's really good, and it means that there's more people talking about the city. I don't see this in any other city, and along with our Christmas trail, which is part of Welcome to Leeds this year. So again, different artistic enhancements across the city, so we hope it will stay here a bit longer. We hope that people will come to the Welcome to Leeds and the Christmas trail that we have in the city, and I think it's about differentiating ourselves and creating a sense of place. Everyone puts Christmas decorations up, or festive lights, or winter lights, whatever you want to call them, but having something that's a bit different sets us out above other cities. And Leeds is a very creative city, it's a very ambitious city, and this sort of makes that statement really, and I think that's really good.
And now the weather. Cold overnight, with a few showers continuing, falling as snow mainly over the hills. Tomorrow will be mostly dry with sunny spells, and there will be further showers with the possibility of thunder. Well, that's all from us tonight. Good night.
Good night.